producer-san? Is it true that you're going to begin managing me as well starting today? I'm not dreaming, am I?
Azusa-san, stop! I think you're making a bigger deal out of it than you need to. Come to think of it, though, that reminds me of the time we first met.
Good afternoon. This is Miura Azusa speaking, and I have arrived. I'm so sorry I ended up being late.
Ah, so you're Miura Azusa-san. We've been expecting you for a while. Welcome. I'm 765 Productions' brand new producer.
A brand new producer-san? Oh my! Which means our agency finally has one then. Well, I hope we're able to work well together, even though I'm not particularly good at anything. I don't know much of anything either, so I'm sure there's a lot I'll be needing to learn from you. If you'd be willing to teach me?
I think all of that goes for both of us, Azusa-san. I was wondering, though, why did you get here so late? Did you run into some trouble, or...
Oh, that... Well, after I arrived at the local station, I made a little mistake and boarded the wrong hotel's taxi. But then it turned out to be a hot spring hotel, so I decided I may as well take a day trip off of it. I read that wrong. So I decided I may as well make a day trip of it, but after that the staff ended up escorting me back here once they realized I was lost.
I see. That sounds pretty whimsical.
Whimsical? You mean the staff?
No, I mean you. Anyway, I'm just glad you made it here safely. Why don't you come on inside, Azusa-san?
I'm sorry, that was so blunt. No, I mean you. I'm not...
That's more or less how it went. Once I saw how easy it is for her to get lost, I realized it'll be important to give her really good guidance. Alright, Azusa-san, the first thing I'd like to get taken care of is for us to hash out a management policy for you.
A management policy? Oh, that has such a wonderful ring to it. I've always wanted one of those.
Hmm? You've always... What?
Working as an idol on my own, I never seem to be able to decide what I want to do or how, and whenever I try to think hard about it, the whole day goes by before I even come up with anything. That's why I've always dreamed how nice it would be if only we had a producer here who could make those kinds of decisions for me. And at long last, my wish has come true. Oh, I am the happiest girl alive. I'm so glad I decided to become an idol.
Azusa-san, that attitude's not going to help us. We haven't even started doing anything together yet. I wouldn't advise feeling so satisfied with the way things are now. Also, if I may, I'd like to ask, was this something you talked with the president about? You're really wanting there to be a producer at the agency?
No, it isn't. I felt it would be rather impertinent of me to bring up my own desires for the direction of the company with him. So I made the wish inside my heart and kept it to myself. Good things come to those who wait, as they said. Fortune-telling operates on much the same principles, in fact.
As they said.
As they say.
To those who wait. I can see you're a very passive person, Azusa-san, and while I will say that the humility that bespeaks is a positive trait to have as a person, in my opinion, I also feel the need to point out that it might not do you as much credit when taken as the cornerstone of your attitude towards your idol career.
It wouldn't? So you're saying that waiting for good things to come isn't the best approach for an idol to take?
That's right. If there's something you want, you actively reach out for it with your own hands, though not to the extent of callously knocking other people aside, of course. An idol leads by example, and that's one of the ways she can do that. Would you agree with me that it's important for an idol to demonstrate a strong will like that?
A strong will to reach out for what you want. Yes, of course I would agree, but do you really think someone like me could learn to have that?
I think you can, Azusa-san. That's exactly the sort of thing this training camp is for. We can use this time away from the big noisy city to develop some specialized, intensive training that'll help you learn to be more proactive. Okay? I need you to try and remember. Think back to a time when you knew what you wanted. Think back to a time when you knew what you wanted when you wanted it, and were driven by a simple-minded determination to get it. Every little girl must have felt that way at some point. No reasons why or why not, just her dreams, her imagination, and an innocent, earnest pining urging her forward.
That does sound like a young girl. I don't know that I would call overzealously bleh. I don't know that I would call fuck. I don't know that I would call overzealously
Concerted.
Thank you. That's what I was trying to say. I don't know that I would call overzealously concerted efforts towards your own dreams the picture of humility, but you're saying it's not a bother to you if I were to proceed in that mindset? Strong, brave, and unrelenting? Do I have that right?
Yes. I don't think anyone would try to tell you working hard to make your own dreams come true is a bad thing after all. This is Japan. So then, are we in agreement regarding your management policy?
Yes, please, by all means. If you could find it in your heart to do so, would you care to transform me into a more proactive idol?
Of course, Azusa-san. We'll work on it little by little. We may have a long road ahead of us, but I have faith that at the end of it, you'll find the power to make your own dreams come true. I don't know how many times in her life she must have had to just sit there and watch good fortune pass her by. But from now on, it'll be different. I swear to use this training camp to help her learn to lay claim to her own happiness. With her own hands. It's been a few days since Azusa's first rank up, and we just finished up her first major event since then. We had her do a merchandise handout.
We finished without incident thanks to your help. It sure is nice that this hall is so close to the training camp.
Yeah, we were lucky to find a good one in the suburbs. It's a lot easier to get in and out of here than downtown.
I still can't believe it, though. Even back when we did hold events for me downtown, nobody would show up at all. But we actually got a fair amount of guests today. I suppose a rank up really must have some kind of inherent special effect to it. I can't thank you enough for it, producer-san.
Don't thank me, Azusa-san. You're the one who worked hard and made the effort to establish yourself here and start attracting a fan base. Though, I guess it is only natural that we'd build up a pretty good affinity for this area, operating the training camp right on the outskirts.
Yes. What do they call that again? Where you have your base of operations and mostly stick to working within the immediate... bleh, and mostly stick to working within the immediately surrounding area? That's right, local. You could say we've practically become the suburb's local idols at this point, don't you think? I think it might be wonderful to stay in this area forever and take in the love we've cultivated with our local fans.
That does sound like it could be nice, but I'm not satisfied with just that. I want even bigger and better things for you, Azusa-san. But more on that later. I wanted to ask, how would you describe the overall response from the fans who came to the event today?
Oh, they had so many pleasant things to say. Among them, though, one of the things I heard frequently that made me especially happy was, I wish I had known about you there. I wish I had known about you a lot sooner. Which makes sense, I suppose. You can't expect to form any relationship if you aren't willing to put yourself out there.
Interesting. So there were fans like that here. People your style does appeal to that just didn't have any impetus to get to know you until now. That tells me that a good thing for us to work on would be increasing your outreach. Otherwise, these potential fans are going to keep passing you by.
Agreed. If there's a gap between me and them, then I must be willing to do my part to close it if we are to meet each other halfway. Speaking of closing gaps, though... That reminds me of a certain something we have a lot of back at the camp. You know what I'm talking about, don't you, producer?
Something we have a lot of that has something to do with gaps? I'm not entirely sure I do know. Are you talking about the futons? How you girls lay them out on the floor with regular gaps between them to sleep at night?
Yes, exactly. You do know what I'm talking about. And the smaller you make those gaps, the easier it gets to talk to the girls next to you. I understand now. One thing that's most important for an idol is to have is the graciousness to let others come closer to her futon.
Suppose that's a good way to think about it? You know, just so long as you don't take the metaphor too literally. With that, though, why don't we start heading back? What do you think, Azusa-san? Did today give you a better sense of how important it is for you to be more proactive as an idol?
Yes, definitely. Although, I just couldn't bring myself to be so bold all of a sudden. Of all the handshakes I gave out today, I didn't initiate any of them myself. I may have learned how valuable of a skill it is, but now it's a matter of finding the courage to put it into practice, isn't it?
That's what the training camp is for. Now that we know what we have to do, we can really get to work building up your strength of will.
Yes, I suppose there... Blah. Yes, I suspect there is... God... I'm sorry.
Calm down.
I've been voice acting all day, and now I'm flubbing everything. Yes, I suspect there's a great deal of things I'll be needing to learn from... I'll be needing to learn well from you. Although, if you could maybe go a little easy on me, please. I'm not exactly the type who can take a lot of punishment.
The event went really well, and now Azusa has found fresh inspiration. I'm gonna start working on a plan of action for her training as soon as we get back. I love you.
I love you too.
With Azusa continuing to garner more and more acclaim, I decided to set aside one of our precious few days off to spend with her at the beach near the camp.
Not only did I just rank up, but I also get to spend a vacation day on this gorgeous beach. And it's all thanks to you, producer. If it weren't for you, I don't think I would ever have a day where I could just rest and relax.
Rest and relax. Azusa-san, if you don't terribly mind my asking, are you still tired?
No, not especially. Whatever fatigue I may have been feeling from our last show has all but disappeared by now.
In that case, how would you like to try spending the day a little more proactively? Like, say, decide on a single objective you'd like to accomplish while we're here. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything overly difficult that would ruin our day off, of course. Just something simple and easy would be fine.
A single objective, Yes, I suppose merely wasting the day away wouldn't do much wouldn't do much to help me achieve any growth, would it? Then, how does this sound? My objective for the day will be to find the most flawless seashell that I can.
That sounds fantastic. It's harder than you might expect to find seashells that don't have any damage to them at all.
Then it's settled. For the sake of becoming a more proactive idol, I vow to fulfill my recreational mission.
It's been quite some time now, and I have completely lost sight of Azusa. Where did that girl disappear to?
Producer son! Producer son!
Oh! Hello, Azusa-san. So, did you find any good seashells?
No, I'm afraid that fell entirely out of the question. Actually, while I was walking along the beach, I ended up getting lost at some point.
You got lost? In this wide open space? That's actually kind of amazing in its own way.
I went into some kind of rocky area and couldn't find my way back out. Not only did I not have any luck finding any seashells, I didn't have anything to eat, so I've become terribly hungry. Although, now that I think about it, there does seem to be the most delightful smell coming from somewhere.
Ah, that would probably be the beach house over there. We may as well go get something to eat so you can continue your hunt, hmm?
Agreed. Oh, a light meal at a beach house with just the two of us sounds like so much fun. I wonder what I should have to eat. I'd like to get something that would be appropriate for an idol.
Well, in your current state, I think I have a pretty good suggestion. Why don't you get a popsicle? That'd be just the thing to beat the oppressive heat today, don't you think? Especially since the animators didn't give you a separate model for wearing something other than that sweat hoodie.
A popsicle? That does sound like it would help me cool down. What flavor should I get? I've decided. I'll get a milk one. What are you going to get, Producer-san?
I guess I'll get... After we finished our popsicles, Azusa resumed her treasure hunt, and before long she found the perfect shell she had been looking for.
Isn't it great that we found such a gorgeous seashell? You know, I've realized something today, Producer-san. When you have a goal in mind, even another ordinary day like any other can feel completely different. I feel like this whole excursion was extremely worthwhile thanks to that.
Well, good. Sounds like you've experienced the simple joy that comes from reaching out for what you want with your own hands.
Yes, and I'm sure the same will hold true when applied to my idol career. Someday, I'll find a treasure even more dazzling than the perfect seashell.
I'm happy to hear you say that. But you know, the extreme life we're after as a company is not to be taken lightly. Laying claim to it won't be quite so simple as picking up a seashell.
I'm aware of that, but I'll be all right. After all, I have someone here for me who's always willing to lend a hand when I need it. I look forward to even more enlightening lessons from you, Producer-san.
I think Azusa definitely became a little more proactive today. That's encouraging. Makes me want to keep working to draw out that positive, productive desire from her along with her natural ability. In terms of sheer ability, Azusa is rapidly coming into her own. As far as proactively reaching out to other people goes, however, there's still work to be done. So today, in the hopes of addressing that issue, I decided to take her out to this nearby farm. Trust me on this one.
The grass smells so nice, and the air is so fresh. The cows seem to be quite happy with it, too. I feel bad, Producer-san. You shouldn't have to go so far out of your way to reward me with such a wonderful, extravagant day off.
You don't have to feel bad, Azusa-san. I didn't bring you here just for that. This just so happens to be lesson 2 of your special proactiveness training.
Lesson 2? Which would make lesson 1 the day we took off to go to the beach, where you had me look for seashells, correct?
Right, so this time I'm gonna make it a little more challenging. I'd like you to try making friends with the cows and the sheep here. They may be... They may be animals, but they still have feelings, unlike seashells. They can help you practice opening your heart and putting yourself out there for others.
Make friends with the animals. Yes, I see your point. If I'm not able to do at least that, then I wouldn't have a prayer of interacting favorably with potential new fans, would I? All right, I'll try it. Let me see. First, let's talk to that cow in the front.
Mm.
Hmm.
Mm.
Why don't we stop this for now? Yes, I'm sure we'll have more opportunities to talk in the future.
What's the matter, Azusa-san? Didn't look to me like that cow was especially wary of you.
Perhaps not, but he also didn't seem to express any particular interest in making friends with me, did he? Besides, he seems to be quite busy eating his grass, so I wouldn't want to cause him any inconvenience by interrupting.
Perish the thought, Azusa-san. Even a cow would be happy to have a popular idol like you go out of her way to kindly reach out to him.
But whenever the thought crosses my mind of what if I end up doing something to upset him, my hand just stops in its tracks. Producer son, do you know what would be the best way to pet the cow to make him happy? Here, please do it on me as an example.
What? You want me to demonstrate on you? Are you sure you wouldn't mind?
I'm the one who asked, so no. It wouldn't make me it wouldn't make me uncomfortable in the slightest. Oh, but perhaps you yourself would be uncomfortable with it, producer son.
No, I'm all right with it if you are. Let's see. I think maybe if you pet it like this?
Wow, that feels nice. So I should pet his head while running my hand along the line of his fur. Is that right?
Yeah, be real careful not to ruffle it up. As long as you do that, I'm pretty sure it'll be fine. Ready? This time, don't worry so much about whether he seems like he wants to be friends or not. You be the one to take the first step and reach out to him. He may be an animal, but he still can't help but comprehend your charm as an idol. That's what I think.
Oh, okay. Meaning the only reason why it wouldn't work is if I just wasn't charming enough. I'm coming over there, Mr. Cow. Okay? Thank goodness. I'm surprised they all seem so willing to openly trust me that much.
Congratulations, Azusa-san, you passed. Oh my god, look at the time though. I think we ended up spending even more time here than I'd planned.
I always overthink things way too much. It makes me worry about hurting the other person's feelings, which is probably what keeps me from getting closer to them.
Maybe that's just your modesty coming through? Or your consideration, even?
I have no idea. And I may not have found out today, but I'm just glad I made it through the day without making the animals hate me. And from now on, I'll do my best to amiably receive the good graces of any new fans of mine, too. Within the bounds of prudence, of course.
The lesson was a success, but something doesn't feel right here. What is it that makes Azusa so overly cautious about not rocking anyone else's boat? I feel like there's a deeper reason for it that goes beyond mere consideration. A reason that needs to be identified and rooted out if she's going to achieve a breakthrough. I'm out in the courtyard tonight, looking up at the stars and worrying about Azusa. She has grown into a splendid idol already, and there's no question that her abilities would even be a match for the Extreme Live. So what is it buried deep in her heart that's still preventing her from proactively acting on those abilities? Azusa-san, wait!
Yes? You noticed I was here?
Only just now? Why were you about to leave without trying to get my attention?
Oh, no. I just felt bad because you seemed to be in deep thought about something, and I didn't think you would appreciate being interrupted just to have to talk to me.
Just to have to talk to... As if anyone wouldn't be more than happy to give such a spectacular idol a moment of their time if she asked. What? Wait a minute. That's it!
Did something just happen, producer son?
I think I just figured it out. The reason why you're so used to passively tiptoeing through your dealings with other people. I mean, there could be a lot of reasons. Maybe that's just the way you are. Maybe you're shy of strangers, but I think the number one reason behind all of that is you don't actually have a lot of confidence in yourself. Do you, Azusa-san?
Confidence in myself? Well, no, of course I don't. But I don't think that should come as any surprise, should it? I mean, everything about me is ordinary and bland. I don't have anything interesting to talk about either. And on top of that, I'm dim-witted, I'm spacey, I dance to my own beat. It'd be pretty strange for a girl like that to be confident in herself, don't you think? Come to think of it, it's a proper miracle that I'm even able to function so effectively as an idol.
No, Azusa-san, stop. That's not true, okay? Becoming such a popular idol isn't something you can just pick any random person off the street and expect them to be able to do, despite the president's preferred methods. It takes something special, and you have that in you, Azusa-san. You are special. That's why I would never not appreciate you asking me for a moment of your time, no matter what the circumstances.
No matter what the circumstances. Say, for example, even a time like this, when you seem to be lost in thought about something?
Of course. Any time you wanted to talk, I would always welcome you. And it's not just me who feels that way. Ask just about any other person out there, and I'm sure they'd say the exact same thing.
It would never occur to me to think like that. Someone like me is much better suited to just standing quietly in the corner, after all.
Still not true, Azusa-san. As you are now, it'd just be a shame to let you hide in the corner. In fact, if you don't let your brilliant light shine even brighter, we're gonna have problems.
Producer-san.
From now on, you'll need both ability and self-confidence in equal measure to see this challenge through to the end. Your abilities have reached stunning heights, but what you lack is self-confidence. So please, I want you to believe in yourself, Azusa-san. Believe in your own appeal. Believe in the memories we've shared at this training camp. And believe that there's not a single person in the world anymore who wouldn't be happy to talk with you.
Not a single person in the world. I feel like I just listened to a fairy tale, Producer-san. The honeyed words a dashing hero might soothingly relate to a young lady to sweep her off her feet. But I also feel that allowing your words to sweep me away to those dream worlds is the very thing that brought me this far. Producer-san, what would happen if I were to continue letting myself believe in those fairy tale promises of yours? How much farther ahead would they carry me?
Anywhere at all, Azusa-san. If you truly believe what I just told you, then there's no limit to how far you can go.
Well, you sound quite sure of yourself. Though I suppose there's a thing or two I need to learn from that display. After all, if my response isn't just as self-assured, then there's a chance I might not get swept away to that fantasy world this time. But anyway, there was something I wanted to ask you, Producer-san. Do you believe in destiny? That there are some things that are just meant to be, and they shall come to pass no matter what. I've always believed that myself, but...
Destiny, huh? I don't know. From my point of view, it's impossible to say for sure whether such a thing truly exists, but if it does, I, for one, would like to believe that clearing the extreme live is our destiny. Or, if it's not, I just ask you to use the power you've gained on our journey together to change destiny. That sounds like something an idol should be able to do, don't you think?
Change our destiny? I feel like you just blew my mind, Producer-san. Could it be that an idol is someone who has the power to change destiny? If that's true, then I don't think I have anything to be afraid of anymore. If I truly have the power to reach out for anything I desire, even if it's not yet meant to be.
In that moment, all the self-doubt and self-loathing disappeared from Azusa's eyes. In its place shone a new power I had never seen from her before. For some reason, I felt as though we had just witnessed the birth of a goddess at that remote backwoods training camp. And so, with the curtains fallen on a magnificent Extreme Live Extreme Clear for Azusa.
I did it, Producer Son! I reached out of my own free will and finally took hold of the treasure I had been yearning for all this time.
Congratulations, Azusa-san. I'm proud of you. So, how does it feel to lay claim to your own happiness with your own hands?
There are no words to describe it. 1,000 happy sensations keep on boiling out one after the other every second. So this is what it feels like to create your own fortune. It's a completely different kind of happiness than you get after aimlessly waiting around for good fortune to fall into your lap. I genuinely had no idea it was even possible to be this happy. I'm sad to say I've spent a great deal of my life unaware of one of the fundamental joys of living. I could never thank you enough, Producer San, for teaching me true happiness, for transforming me into a true idol.
You're exaggerating, Azusa-san. All I did was lay down a few guideposts for you. You're the one who reached out to your fans, and they responded in kind. I just made sure the path was open for you to do that in the meantime.
Yes, but I never had the courage to actually walk down that path before, because I had no confidence in myself. You're the one who gently swept that lack of self-confidence away from me, Producer Son.
That did turn out to be the biggest issue, didn't it? At first, I assumed your unusual modesty was just an artifact of your personality. But the truth ran deeper than that. I don't know if it would have come to light so easily had we not been living together at the training camp.
You're right. People really are able to grow stronger together by living closer together. I've become increasingly convinced of that. And I'd like to see it continue to play out. But to deepen our relationship even further than this would probably require an equal measure of determination from both of us, wouldn't you say?
Yeah?
As long as I'm with you, Producer San, I feel that I can grow even more proactive with so many other things that I won't ever lose sight of my goals again. So, now it's your turn. Do you think you have it in you to become just as proactive as you've taught me to be?
That's a good question. I'm not really sure, but I have no excuse for losing out to the proactiveness of my own extreme idol, after all. I'll do my best.
Yes, as long as you and I both feel the same way, I don't think there's any treasure out there we can't take hold of. It's a promise, all right? Don't forget. I know I never will.
Right.
Incidentally, do you remember what you told me before Producer Son I was called you Azusa? That I have the power to change destiny?
Yes, I remember. I had faith that if it came down to it, you would have the power to bend destiny to your will. But you can do one better. As an extreme idol, you have the power to envision whatever future you want to come to pass, and create it with your own hands.
Create my own future. That's quite a lofty claim, but I can believe it. I think I'll keep those words in mind as I return to work tomorrow.
Yeah? So, what sort of idol are you planning to be from now on?
Not the type who just sits around waiting for something good to happen to her. I will paint my own future with the colors of my dreams. And I will weave my own destiny with the threads of my will. I, Miura Azusa, will become every bit the idol you hoped I would.
I don't know what sort of future or destiny she envisions for herself, but I do know that no matter what it is, she has the power to make it come true. There's no one who can resist the divine light of her spirit anymore.